Here's what they don't teach you in cybersecurity training: how to spy on your own husband. But Robert made it easy. Password was still our anniversary date. The keylogger installs in 43 seconds. Corporate-grade spyware, same toolkit I use for penetration testing at TechCorp. Tonight, different target. My fingers move automatically across the keyboard, muscle memory from 1,000 client audits. The blue progress bar crawls forward while Robert sleeps upstairs. If you've ever had that gut feeling something was wrong but ignored it, you know exactly how this feels. Hit that like button if you've been there, because what I discovered next will make you trust your instincts forever. 2:17 a.m. House quiet except for the dishwasher cycle and my laptop fan spinning faster under the workload. I should be sleeping. Should have been sleeping 4 hours ago, but the Meridian Bank security assessment ran late. Always does when you're hunting for vulnerabilities that could cost millions. The software finishes installing. Remote access established. Robert's laptop now broadcasts every keystroke, every email, every deleted browser history entry straight to my encrypted server. Standard corporate espionage package, available to anyone with my clearance level and a complete absence of professional boundaries. I close the laptop and pour another coffee. Ethiopian blend, the expensive stuff Robert bought to impress his new cousin. Valentina Santos, 26, supposedly studying nursing after losing her Miami apartment. Supposedly family from his mother's side, though Robert's mother has been dead 8 years and never mentioned extended relatives in Florida. Valentina moves like someone who's never struggled financially. Manicured nails, designer workout clothes, teeth too perfect for someone supposedly sleeping on couches before landing in our guest room. When she thinks I'm not looking, she checks her phone with the focused attention of someone managing complex logistics. Professional habit makes me catalog inconsistencies. Nursing student who flinches at medical terminology. Broke relative with a Louis Vuitton purse she thinks I haven't noticed. Grateful cousin who never offers to help with expenses, but somehow contributes premium coffee and organic groceries. Robert has become helpful in ways that trigger every threat detection algorithm in my brain. Volunteers for grocery runs with Valentina because she doesn't know the area. Stays up late helping with her studies. Works out with her in our home gym because she needs a workout buddy. My husband, who hasn't voluntarily exercised since our honeymoon 7 years ago. 3 weeks of watching this performance. 3 weeks of playing the oblivious wife, while my professional instincts screamed warnings I refused to acknowledge. Until tonight. Week 4, Thursday, 11:47 p.m. I returned from the Meridian assessment to find the guest room light still on. Valentina supposedly asleep hours ago, Robert claiming exhaustion before disappearing upstairs early. But sound travels in our house. And the rhythmic creaking from the guest room wasn't someone restless in sleep. I stood in the hallway counting the rhythm. 37 seconds before I walked to my office and opened my laptop. 43 seconds to install surveillance software on my husband's computer. 6 years of marriage. Thousands of hours spent protecting corporate networks from infiltration. The most dangerous threats come from inside the perimeter. The coffee tastes bitter. Or maybe that's just the taste of finally admitting what I've known for weeks but refused to process. My husband is sleeping with his cousin in our guest room, and I'm about to become very good at my job in ways TechCorp never intended. The keylogger sends its first data packet at 2:53 a.m. If this story is hitting too close to home, subscribe now, because what I did next will show you exactly how to protect yourself when the people you trust most are planning to destroy you. The first red flag wasn't the creaking bed. It was Tuesday, 3 weeks earlier, when Robert announced his cousin needed help. Valentina's been like a sister to me since we were kids, he'd said, scrolling through his phone while I prepped dinner. Mom always said she was the daughter she never had. I stopped chopping onions. Robert's mother died when he was 19. In 8 years of marriage, he'd never mentioned extended family. Never talked about childhood companions or surrogate sisters. His stories always featured him alone, only child, distant relatives, small family gatherings. When did you reconnect with her? I asked. Oh, we've stayed in touch. You know how family is. No. I didn't know. Because Robert had spent our entire relationship claiming he envied my large family precisely because he had none. Pattern recognition activated. Inconsistent baseline behavior. Changed narrative without acknowledgement of the change. The helpful husband routine started immediately. Robert, who normally required GPS to find the grocery store, volunteered for daily supply runs. Robert, who claimed his back couldn't handle our treadmill, suddenly became Valentina's dedicated workout partner. Robert, who'd never shown interest in medical topics, spent evenings helping her study nursing materials. "You're being so thoughtful," I told him Friday morning, week 2, watching him pack what looked like a picnic lunch. "Just showing her around town. She's been cooped up job hunting all week." Except Thursday night, I'd walked past her open door and glimpsed her laptop screen. LinkedIn profile, real estate license verification portal, Florida Department of Business registration pages. Not nursing school applications. The laptop snapped shut before I could process details, but my brain cataloged the fragments. Professional license numbers. Corporate entity searches. Property transfer documents. "How's the job search going, Valentina?" I'd asked at breakfast. "Slow, but promising. The nursing market is competitive here." Clean, confident practice lie. Silent rooms became a pattern I started timing. Tuesday, 6:43 p.m., I enter the kitchen while they were cooking together. Immediate conversation stop. Guilty expressions, Robert changing the subject to mortgage rates. Friday, 8:16 p.m. Walked into the living room where they were supposedly watching Netflix. Television volume dropped. Valentina suddenly fascinated by her phone. Robert asking about my day with unusual intensity. Saturday, 9:22 a.m. Open the home office door while passing by. Valentina quickly closed what looked like financial spreadsheets, Robert minimizing browser windows on his computer. "Just helping her organize her finances," Robert explained. "She's had a tough year." But I'd glimpsed enough. Excel columns with property addresses. Browser tabs showing mortgage calculators and investment return projections. Documents that looked like loan applications with both their names. Phone attachment patterns changed dramatically. Robert's device, previously abandoned carelessly around the house, became surgically attached to his person. Bathroom trips included the phone. Grocery runs required the phone. Even 30-second walks to check the mailbox required the phone. Text notifications triggered immediate responses regardless of context. Middle-of-dinner conversations during Netflix shows, even while he was supposedly helping Valentina with homework. The phone would buzz, Robert would check it instantly, then excuse himself for work emergencies that required private conversations. Monday morning, week 3, I counted his phone checks during a 20-minute breakfast period. 47 times. He touched that device every 25 seconds. Threat actors always leave digital footprints. Robert was no different. My cybersecurity training kicked into full threat assessment mode. Abnormal baseline behavior. Established. Deceptive communication patterns. Confirmed. Operational security failures. Multiple documented instances. Potential insider threat indicators. All present. I started documenting everything. Timestamps for suspicious conversations. Screenshots of quickly closed browser windows. Audio recordings of their study sessions that contain no medical terminology, but plenty of financial jargon. Wednesday night, Robert claimed early bedtime due to exhaustion from helping Valentina apartment hunt. But at 11:30, I heard his office door close quietly. At 11:45, muffled conversation through the guest room wall. At midnight 17, his office door opening again, footsteps returning to our bedroom. Thursday morning, Valentina mentioned she'd had trouble sleeping, kept up by anxiety about finding work. Robert nodded sympathetically, squeezing her hand across the breakfast table with familiarity that made my stomach clench. Professional instincts don't lie. When you spend your career hunting threats that hide inside trusted systems, you develop sensors for infiltration attempts. The patterns were textbook. Establish trust, gain access, exploit vulnerabilities, extract value while maintaining cover. Robert wasn't just cheating. He was running a comprehensive social engineering attack against his own wife. Thursday night brought confirmation. The keylogger caught their first conversation at 3:22 a.m. 17 words that changed everything. Elena's security clearance gets us meetings with Tier 1 government contractors. Not infidelity.
Corporate espionage.
My husband wasn't just sleeping with his cousin. He was selling my professional access to finance their operation. ACT2. Investigation. 20%. 1,200 words. Remote access toolkit. Usually for client security audits. Tonight, different target. The software package installs across Robert's devices over the next 48 hours. Phone mirroring through a Wi-Fi vulnerability eye patch for corporate clients daily. His laptop already compromised. Even his work tablet, password protection worthless when you understand the underlying architecture. Week 6 brings the first major intelligence breakthrough. Tuesday morning, 9:15 a.m., Robert takes a call while I'm supposedly upstairs showering. Audio capture through his compromised phone picks up everything. The Miami property closes next Friday, Robert says, pacing our kitchen. Wire transfer hits our account Monday. Valentina's voice, clear as if she's standing next to the recording device. What about Elena's contacts? Jenkins from Defense Logistics wants a meeting. Set it up through her work email. She forwards client introductions all the time, won't think twice about one more. You're sure she doesn't suspect anything? Elena's brilliant with networks, clueless about people. She sees what she wants to see. Drop a comment if you think I should have confronted them right here. But trust me, what I found next made waiting worth it. And if you're learning something about protecting yourself financially, smash that subscribe button, because this gets so much worse. The conversation continues for 7 minutes. Property investment strategies. Client lists compiled from my professional contacts. Plans to leverage my security clearance for government contract opportunities. My stomach turns as I listen to them dissect my career like it's their personal resource mine. Robert changes his laptop password that afternoon. Simple social engineering countermeasure. He's getting paranoid. No problem. Keylogger already installed captures the new password in real time. Miami 2024 investment.
Subtle.
Week 8. I'm loading the dishwasher when Valentina's laptop screen reflects in the kitchen window. She's sitting at our breakfast bar, supposedly researching nursing programs. But the reflection shows real estate portal pages. Property listings, investment calculators, mortgage pre-approval applications. She's using our address as her business headquarters. I move closer, pretending to wipe counters while memorizing what I can see in the glass. Florida real estate license, active. Delaware Corporation Registration, V. Santos Holdings, LLC. Property acquisition timeline, 12 properties in 18 months. The laptop snaps shut when she notices my reflection approaching. How's the studying going? I ask, refilling her coffee mug. Good. Complex material, but I'm getting there. Professional liar. Confident eye contact, relaxed body language, seamless delivery. She's done this before. Comment below if you've ever discovered someone in your life wasn't who they claimed to be. Your stories help others recognize these red flags, and if this is helping you see warning signs in your own situation, please share this video. Someone needs to hear this. Week 10 brings financial confirmation. Robert's bank statements, accessed through his compromised laptop, show wire transfers to V. Santos LLC dating back 8 months. Before Valentina ever moved into our house. Before she supposedly lost her Miami apartment. Before any of this was allegedly necessary. $15,000. $32,000. $41,000. Money withdrawn from our joint savings account under the guise of emergency car repairs and unexpected tax bills I never questioned because I trusted my husband. Forensic accounting reveals the pattern. Robert liquidated our emergency fund, our vacation savings, even borrowed against his 401k. Total transferred to Valentina's company. $167,000. But the most damaging evidence comes week 12. Deleted text message recovery, a specialty I use hunting corporate data theft. Robert thinks deleting texts removes them permanently. He's wrong. Elena suspects nothing. She's too focused on her Pentagon audit to notice anything. Good. Jenkins wants to meet next week about the infrastructure contract. Use her credentials to set it up. She gives me access to her work calendar. I'll book it during her conference in Denver. This is working better than we planned. Her security clearance opens every door we need. Just keep playing the grateful cousin. 2 more months, and we'll have enough contracts to disappear. Recovery complete. Evidence documented. Pattern established. Robert changes his passwords again week 13. This time he uses a password manager. More sophisticated operational security, but ultimately useless when I've already installed root-level surveillance across all his devices. The password manager itself becomes my source of intelligence. Week 14 brings the first major complication. I'm photographing documents in Valentina's room while they're supposedly grocery shopping together. Property deeds, loan applications, client contact lists compiled from my professional network. The camera clicks too loudly on the final shot. Footsteps on the stairs. They're back early. I slip the documents back into her laptop bag and grab a stack of clean towels from the hallway closet. When Valentina appears in her doorway, I'm walking past with laundry. "Oh, sorry," I say, continuing toward our bedroom. "Just putting away towels. Did you forget something?" She watches me carefully. "Left my wallet." Close call. Too close. I need better operational security if this continues. The private investigator I hire week 15 loses them for 3 days straight. Traffic complications, conflicting schedules, basic surveillance failures. Professional disappointment in outsourced work quality. I should have anticipated this problem. Week 16, some of my archived audio files get corrupted. Technical failure, backup systems didn't trigger properly. 2 weeks of incriminating conversations lost to digital decay. Lesson learned. Redundant storage systems essential for evidence preservation. I implement better protocols. Cloud backup to 3 separate encrypted servers. Automated redundancy for all surveillance data. Audio recordings saved in multiple formats across different storage solutions. Robert starts using encrypted messaging apps week 17. Signal, Telegram, apps designed to prevent exactly what I'm doing. He's learning operational security from somewhere. Possibly Valentina, who clearly has experience running deception operations. No matter. Encrypted messaging doesn't protect against screen recording software installed at the device level. I capture everything before it gets encrypted, everything after it gets decrypted. The apps provide him with false security while giving me complete access. Week 18 brings the most interesting discovery yet. I'm supposed to be at work, but a client meeting gets canceled. I return home to grab documents from my office. The house appears empty. Robert at work, Valentina supposedly job hunting. But Valentina's purse is open on the kitchen counter, and something catches my eye. Small black device, barely larger than a thumb drive, nestled between her wallet and makeup compact. Digital audio recorder. Professional grade, the kind federal agents use for undercover operations. I photograph it from multiple angles without touching anything. Serial number, model specifications, memory capacity indicators. Then I check its storage contents using a forensic reader from my work toolkit. 47 hours of recorded conversations. All between Robert and Valentina, dating back to before she moved in. I listen to a sample. Robert discussing my work schedule, my security clearances, my professional relationships. Valentina asking detailed questions about my access levels, my client relationships, my travel patterns. This isn't just adultery or financial fraud. Week 18, I found the recording device in Valentina's purse. She was gathering insurance too. The performance begins each morning at 6:30 a.m. with coffee preparation. Robert likes his dark, 2 sugars, served in the blue ceramic mug his mother gave us for our wedding. I measure the grounds precisely, start the machine, and while it brews, I sync overnight data from his compromised devices to my secured servers. "Morning, honey," I say, kissing his cheek while transferring 47 browser history entries and 12 text message threads to encrypted storage. "Sleep well?" "Like a rock." "You're up early." Pentagon briefing at 8. "Need to review the assessment findings." Perfect truth. The Pentagon's cybersecurity contract requires morning briefings 3 times per week. Robert knows the schedule, has known it for months. What he doesn't know is that I've documented every instance where he's used my absence for private conversations with Valentina. I pour his coffee and place the morning newspaper beside his laptop. While he reads headlines, I photograph the screen reflection in the stainless steel coffee maker behind him. Advanced surveillance technique. Reflective surfaces often reveal more than direct observation. This morning's reflection shows email drafts to my professional contacts. Introduction requests for investment opportunities using my security clearance as credibility. He's scheduling meetings during my Denver conference next week. Valentina seems to be settling in well. I mention, buttering toast with calculated casualness. Yeah, she's grateful for the stability. Job hunting is rough. Maybe I could help. TechCorp is always looking for nursing consultants for our healthcare client assessments. Robert's coffee mug pauses halfway to his mouth. Micro-expression analysis, surprise, concern, rapid calculation. He's evaluating whether involving my actual employer would complicate their operation. That's thoughtful, but she wants to find something on her own. Independence thing.
Lie.
Smooth delivery, but his left hand twitches toward his phone. Stress response triggered by unexpected variables in his operational plan. Tuesday evening, week 7. I suggest extending Valentina's stay. We're having dinner, Thai takeout, because I'm supposedly too exhausted from work to cook. Truth. I spent the day analyzing the financial transfers I discovered in Robert's banking records. You know, I say, serving pad thai while recording the conversation through my compromised phone. Maybe Valentina shouldn't feel pressured to move out so quickly. Job hunting takes time, especially in a new city. Valentina looks up from her laptop, where she's supposedly researching nursing positions, but actually updating property acquisition spreadsheets. Oh, that's sweet, Elena, but I don't want to overstay. Nonsense. We have the space, and it's nice having family around. The word family makes Robert smile. Genuine pleasure at my apparent acceptance of their story. He has no idea I'm simultaneously photographing Valentina's laptop screen using the telephoto lens attachment on my phone. 6 more weeks. Robert suggests. Give you time to find the right opportunity, not just any job. 6 weeks sounds perfect. I agree, capturing his relieved expression. Like having a sister around. They exchange glances. Quick, subtle communication that would be meaningless to most people. To someone trained in threat assessment, it's confirmation of coordinated deception. Week 9 brings the couple's therapy scheduling. I call Dr. Patricia Hendricks while Robert is showering, using speakerphones so my surveillance system captures both sides of the conversation. Dr. Hendricks? This is Elena Blackstone. I'd like to schedule marriage counseling for my husband and me. Of course, Elena. What seems to be the primary concern? Communication issues. I feel like Robert is hiding things from me, making decisions without discussion. Money management, career planning, that sort of thing. Truth wrapped in therapeutic language. The perfect cover for investigating financial fraud while appearing to work on relationship improvement. I have openings Thursday evenings. Would that work? Thursday evenings are perfect. I book 6 sessions while simultaneously uploading Robert's deleted browser history to my forensic analysis server. Multitasking efficiency born from professional necessity. When Robert emerges from the shower, I'm sitting on our bed with my work laptop, supposedly reviewing client files. I scheduled couples therapy. I announce without looking up. Thursdays, starting next week. His reflection in my laptop screen shows genuine surprise. Not guilt or panic. Surprise that I'm taking initiative in our relationship rather than questioning it. That's great, Elena. I think talking to someone could really help us. Help him maintain his deception more likely. But therapy sessions will provide cover for my investigation activities while making me appear committed to marriage improvement. Evidence accumulation becomes routine. Public records searches conducted during lunch breaks. Corporate database queries run overnight when Robert thinks I'm sleeping. Professional verification calls made from my office phone during business hours. V. Santos Holdings LLC, registered to our home address without my knowledge or consent. Federal crime number 1. Business loan applications using forged versions of my signature. Federal crime number 2. Client introduction email sent from my work account without my authorization. Federal crime number 3. Professional verification calls reveal Valentina Santos holds active real estate licenses in Florida, Delaware, and Nevada. She's been operating investment companies under multiple business names for the past 3 years. This is an amateur hour financial fraud. She's running a sophisticated multi-state operation. Week 15, I discover they've been using my security clearance information to schedule meetings with defense contractors. Robert accessed my work calendar, copied client contact information, and has been representing himself as my business partner in initial conversations. The evidence builds systematically. Financial forensics, digital surveillance, public record correlation, professional verification. Every piece cross-referenced and documented with timestamps, source attribution, and legal admissibility standards. Week 16 brings a close call during document photography. I'm in Valentina's room capturing images of property investment spreadsheets when I hear the garage door opening. They're returning from their job hunting trip 3 hours early. I slip everything back into position and grab towels from the hallway closet. When they appear upstairs, I'm walking past Valentina's door carrying laundry. Sorry, I say to Valentina. Just putting away towels. How did the interviews go? She studies my face carefully. Professional assessment. Is this woman suspicious or just performing household tasks? Good meetings. Several promising opportunities. Another lie, delivered with practiced confidence. But I caught something in her expression. Evaluation. Calculation. She's starting to wonder if I'm as oblivious as they assume. Week 17, I book a weekend spa trip with my sister. Suppose sisterly bonding actually provides 48 hours of uninterrupted surveillance review and evidence organization. I return home Sunday evening with professionally organized files documenting 6 months of corporate espionage. How was the spa? Robert asks, kissing me hello with what appears to be genuine affection. Relaxing. Sometimes you need distance to gain perspective. More truth than he realizes. Distance provided clarity on exactly how methodically they've been exploiting my professional reputation for personal gain. Week 18, I found the recording device in Valentina's purse. She was gathering insurance too. The call to my college roommate happens on a Tuesday during my lunch break, for months after installing the first keylogger. I'm sitting in my car outside a Starbucks, supposedly grabbing coffee between client meetings. Rebecca Martinez prosecutes federal white-collar crime for the Eastern District now. We catch up every few months. Beck, hypothetical question for you. I say after 20 minutes of normal conversation about her kids and my work stress. If someone used government security clearances to commit fraud, what kind of legal territory are we talking about? The pause tells me everything. Rebecca's prosecutor instincts activate immediately. Elena, that's not hypothetical territory. That's RICO territory. Organized criminal enterprise. Federal conspiracy charges. We're talking decades, not years. What if it involved forged signatures on loan documents? Bank fraud, identity theft, wire fraud if it crossed state lines. Elena, why are you asking me this? I take a breath. I think my husband might be running some kind of investment scam using my professional contacts and security clearance. Jesus. How much evidence do you have? 6 months worth. Financial records, recorded conversations, forged documents. Everything. Rebecca switches into full prosecutor mode. You need to stop gathering evidence immediately. You could be compromising a federal investigation. I'll make some calls. If you're thinking, I could never do what Elena did, you're wrong. Subscribe and hit that bell icon because I'm going to show you exactly how an ordinary woman brought down a criminal enterprise. Your future self will thank you. Month 4, I file the IRS complaint through their online fraud reporting system. Form 3949, A. Information referral. The bureaucratic process requires specific documentation, tax returns, banking records, business registration details. I spend 3 lunch breaks uploading financial evidence to their secure portal. The automated response promises review within 60 to 90 days. Government efficiency at work. Month 5 brings the real estate commission complaint. Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation requires detailed documentation of unlicensed activity across state lines. I filed Form DBPR 0001, Professional License Complaint, with supporting evidence of Valentina's operations using our address. State agencies move faster than federal ones. Acknowledgement arrives within 2 weeks, case number assigned. Investigation timeline estimated at 30 to 45 days. Month 5.5. Rebecca connects me with FBI Special Agent Morrison through my work security liaison. Protocol requires going through official channels. My TechCorp security clearance makes me a federal asset, which means FBI has jurisdiction over crimes involving my access. The meeting happens in a conference room at my office building. Morrison is professional, thorough, unimpressed by emotional appeals. She wants documentation, timelines, evidence chains. I provide everything on encrypted drives with detailed authentication logs. How long have you been conducting surveillance? She asks, reviewing my materials. 6 months. I documented everything using standard forensic protocols. Did you consult legal counsel before beginning surveillance operations?
No.
I use techniques from my professional training for cybersecurity assessments. Morrison makes notes. We'll need to verify chain of custody for all evidence. Some of your surveillance methods might not be legally admissible. Bureaucratic obstacles I hadn't anticipated. Surveillance evidence gathered without warrant could be thrown out, even when conducted by the victim. Legal technicalities that could destroy months of work. Month 6 brings coordinated agency review. IRS, FBI, and Florida Real Estate Commission synchronize their investigations. Interagency coordination requires approval from multiple supervisors, legal review of evidence admissibility, tactical planning for simultaneous action. The complications start week 22. Robert becomes paranoid about his digital security. He starts using a burner phone for sensitive conversations, purchased with cash from a convenience store. I detect it through network analysis. New device connecting to our Wi-Fi with encrypted messaging apps. Counter-surveillance measures. He's getting professional advice from somewhere. Week 23. Valentina mentions leaving early. She's getting nervous about extended residence, worried about questions from neighbors or mail delivery. The pressure of maintaining their cover story for 6 months is wearing on her operational discipline. Maybe I should find my own place soon, she tells Robert during a conversation I record through the kitchen audio surveillance. People are starting to ask questions about when I'm moving out. Elena's work performance becomes a problem week 24. My supervisor, David Chun, calls me into his office for a stress assessment meeting. Your client reports have been excellent as always, he says, but you seem distracted during meetings. Is everything okay at home?
Difficult conversation.
My investigation activities are affecting my professional performance, which could compromise my security clearance if documented formally. Just some personal stress. Marriage stuff. We're working through it in therapy. Partial truth. We are attending couples therapy, though Robert doesn't know I'm using sessions to document his psychological manipulation techniques for legal proceedings. Take some time off if you need it, David suggests. Family comes first. If he only knew how much family was costing me. Week 25 brings the first major bureaucratic setback. The local prosecutor Rebecca initially contacted dismisses the case as a domestic dispute with financial complications. Standard response to spousal complaints. Law enforcement assumes personal drama rather than criminal enterprise. Look, the prosecutor tells Rebecca during a phone call I'm not supposed to know about. Wife discovers husband's affair, finds evidence of financial impropriety, wants to use federal resources for divorce proceedings. We see this constantly. Rebecca fights back. The security clearance fraud makes this federal jurisdiction. This isn't about marriage problems. Prove criminal intent beyond personal gain from adultery. Bureaucratic wall. Prosecutors see domestic cases as resource drains unless they involve obvious violence. Financial fraud between spouses gets dismissed as civil matters, not criminal ones. Rebecca escalates to her supervisor, who reviews the evidence package I provided. FBI agent Morrison vouches for the technical validity of my surveillance documentation. The security clearance angle finally gets proper attention. Approval comes through week 26. Federal charges approved, coordinated raid authorized, Timing set for Thursday morning when Robert would be most vulnerable, home, relaxed, unprepared for simultaneous law enforcement action. Robert's employment contract becomes my lunch break reading material for 2 weeks straight. Wilmington Financial Group maintains strict compliance standards for their senior advisors. Morality clauses, client confidentiality requirements, mandatory reporting of legal proceedings. Most importantly, automatic termination for any charges involving financial fraud or misuse of client relationships. I research every detail during my supposed sandwich breaks. The compliance officer, Patricia Welsh, is former FBI white-collar crime division. She built her reputation prosecuting financial advisors who violated fiduciary responsibilities. She'll take Robert's security clearance fraud personally. I document every instance where Robert used my professional contacts for personal business. Client introduction emails sent from my work account without authorization. Meeting requests leveraging my government access for private investment opportunities. Federal contractors contacted through my security clearance network for Robert's benefit. His compliance officer was former FBI. This would matter to her. The evidence package I prepare includes specific violations. Company Policy 4.7. Personal use of client relationships prohibited. Federal Regulation 12.3. Misuse of government access credentials. Fiduciary Standard 8.1. Failure to disclose personal financial interests. Each violation documented with timestamps, email records, recorded conversations. Professional destruction requires professional documentation. Tuesday, I submit final evidence packages to 3 agencies simultaneously. IRS receives comprehensive financial documentation of unreported income and tax evasion. FBI gets security clearance fraud evidence and interstate wire fraud documentation. Florida Real Estate Commission receives proof of unlicensed activity across state lines. The submission process takes 6 hours. Each agency has different requirements, file formats, authentication methods, chain of custody documentation. I upload everything from my office computer during a supposed project deadline crunch that requires working late. Rebecca coordinates the legal review Tuesday evening. All 3 agencies confirm receipt and preliminary review. Evidence quality is excellent. Your technical background shows. Timeline for action? Wednesday review. Thursday morning execution, if approved. Elena, once this starts, there's no stopping it. I understand. 6 months of surveillance and evidence gathering culminates in 12 hours of coordinated federal action. Everything Robert and Valentina built together will collapse before breakfast Thursday. Wednesday brings agency coordination calls. FBI confirms raid logistics with local law enforcement. IRS coordinates asset seizure procedures. Real Estate Commission prepares professional license suspension paperwork. I sit in my office listening to Agent Morrison coordinate tactical details. 2 vehicles for agents, warrant service at 7:15 a.m. Subject will likely be home, preparing for work routine. Secondary subject may attempt to flee if alerted. Professional operational planning. These people dismantle criminal enterprises for living. Robert and Valentina built their fraud operation assuming they're smarter than law enforcement. They're about to learn otherwise. The timing strategy focuses on Robert's vulnerability window. Thursday morning, between 7 o'clock and 8 a.m., he follows predictable routine. Shower at 6:45, coffee and news until 7:30, departure for work at 7:45. Creature of habit, which makes him tactically predictable. Valentina usually sleeps until 8:00, claiming her job search schedule allows flexibility. Really, she stays up late managing their property investments and coordinating with out-of-state business partners. Both targets in-house, both vulnerable, minimal chance of flight or evidence destruction. Comment justice if you're ready to see Robert get what he deserves. And if you've been following Elena's journey this far, sharing this video helps other women learn these investigation techniques. Someone's husband is doing this right now. Wednesday afternoon, I attend couples therapy with Robert. Dr. Hendricks guides us through communication exercises while I mentally review Thursday's operational timeline. Surreal experience, discussing relationship improvement strategies while federal agents finalize arrest procedures. Elena, you seem distracted today, Dr. Hendricks observes. What's on your mind? Work stress. Big project deadline coming up. Should be resolved tomorrow. Robert squeezes my hand supportively. You've been working so hard lately. Maybe take Friday off. Decompress a little. If he only knew what kind of decompression I have planned. Wednesday evening, I cook dinner while listening to Robert and Valentina discuss their timeline for wrapping up her job search. They're planning to announce her departure in 2 weeks after one final round of property acquisitions using my professional contacts. The Jenkins meeting next week should close everything, Robert tells her. After that, we'll have enough contracts to be set for years. They have no idea tomorrow morning ends everything permanently. Wednesday night, I sit in my office organizing files while Robert sleeps upstairs. 6 months of evidence sorted into legal categories. Financial fraud documentation. Security clearance violation records. Interstate commerce fraud evidence. Identity theft materials. Professional investigation file that would impress federal prosecutors. Because it was prepared by a federal contractor with decades of security assessment experience. My phone buzzes at 11:47 p.m. Text from Rebecca. Green light for tomorrow. 7:15 a.m. Confirmation received. 6 months of methodical evidence gathering transforms into federal criminal action in 8 hours. I look at the house around me. Tomorrow evening, everything changes. Robert facing federal charges. Valentina in custody. Their criminal enterprise dismantled completely. The coffee maker is already programmed for 6:30 a.m. Robert likes his routine consistent, even on days when his world implodes. 6 months of patience. 12 hours of chaos. 6:47 a.m. The shower runs upstairs while I load the dishwasher with last night's dinner plates. Robert follows his routine precisely. 20-minute shower, coffee, and news. Departure by 7:45. Except today, his routine ends with federal agents. His phone rings on the kitchen counter. Patricia Welsh, compliance officer, Wilmington Financial Group. I know because I've been tracking his contacts for months. My hands shake slightly as I answer. Hello. This is Patricia Welsh from Wilmington Financial. Is this Robert Blackstone? No, this is Elena, his wife. He's in the shower. Can I take a message? Professional pause. Welsh choosing her words carefully. This is urgent regarding Mr. Blackstone's security clearance status and employment standing. Could you have him call immediately? Of course. Should I tell him what it's regarding? Just have him call. Immediately. The way I said immediately back to her. Like I didn't already know exactly why they were calling. Like I hadn't spent weeks documenting every violation that led to this moment. I hang up and continue loading dishes. 7 minutes until federal agents arrive. Perfect timing coordination that Robert will never appreciate. Water stops running upstairs. Robert emerges from the bathroom singing something off-key, towel around his waist, completely oblivious that his professional life just ended with a phone call to his wife. Your boss called, I say when he appears in the kitchen. Patricia Welsh. Something urgent about your security clearance. She wants you to call back immediately. The color drains from his face. Not guilt, confusion. He doesn't understand how his security clearance connects to his private business activities. Technical oversight in his criminal planning. Welsh called here? Why wouldn't she call my direct line? She didn't say. Just emphasized calling immediately. Robert grabs his phone and dials while pacing our kitchen in his bathrobe. I continue organizing dishes, listening to his side of what I know will be a very short conversation. Patricia, it's Robert. Elena said you called about my clearance.
Pause.
Robert stops pacing. I don't understand. What security violation? Longer pause. His face goes white, then red. That's impossible. I never used Elena's contacts for personal business. Lie delivered with desperation rather than confidence. He knows exactly what he did, but can't comprehend how they discovered it. I need to speak with legal before we discuss this further. Patricia Welsh apparently disagrees. The conversation continues for 3 more minutes, Robert's voice rising with each exchange. You can't terminate me based on unsubstantiated allegations. But they can. And they did. Employment contract violation, security clearance revocation, immediate termination for cause. No severance, no appeal process, no professional rehabilitation. Robert hangs up and stares at his phone like it personally betrayed him. Then, he throws it against the kitchen wall. The device explodes against ceramic tiles, screen fragmenting into crystalline patterns. Battery compartment separates, plastic casing splits, SIM card skitters across floor. He kicks the breakfast table chair, sending it sliding into the cabinet with a crash that rattles our wedding china. Runs upstairs, bare feet slapping hardwood, bathrobes trailing like some demented ghost of domestic tranquility. Bedroom door slams with enough force to shake picture frames on hallway walls. I count 12 seconds of silence before he screams. Not words. Just raw sound from someone whose carefully constructed world just collapsed in a 7-minute phone conversation. The sound echoes through our house like a wounded animal's cry. Hit that like button if Robert's scream gave you the same satisfaction it gave me. And comment below, what would you have said to him in that moment? I read every single comment because your support means everything. Valentina appears in the kitchen doorway, wearing pajamas and confusion. What happened? Is Robert okay? Work troubles, I say, sweeping phone fragments into a dustpan. He'll figure it out. She checks the time on her own phone. 7:12 a.m. 3 minutes until federal agents arrive to give Robert much bigger problems than unemployment. 7:15 a.m. arrives with the precision of Swiss chronometry. 2 black sedans pull into our driveway, followed by a white FBI van with government plates. No sirens, no dramatic flourishes. Professional law enforcement conducting routine criminal apprehension. I watch through the kitchen window while wiping coffee rings from the counter. 6 agents in dark suits emerge from vehicles, checking paperwork and coordinating positions. Agent Morrison leads the group, tablet in hand, reviewing tactical procedures one final time. The doorbell rings exactly at 7:15:30. Valentina freezes, with her coffee mug halfway to her lips. Who's that? Probably delivery, I say, continuing to clean counters. Robert will get it. But Robert is still upstairs, alternating between screaming and throwing things. Bedroom furniture hitting walls, closet doors slamming, the sounds of someone having a complete psychological breakdown. The doorbell rings again. More insistent. I'll get it, Valentina says, setting down her mug. Wait. I touch her arm gently. Maybe I should. You're not dressed. True. Pajamas and bedhead don't project the professional image she's spent months cultivating. I walk to the front door, knowing exactly what waits on the other side. Agent Morrison stands on my doorstep, flanked by 2 other agents. Behind them, 3 more position themselves strategically around our front yard. Professional deployment designed to prevent flight attempts. Mrs. Blackstone? FBI. We have warrants for Robert Blackstone and Valentina Santos. I open the door wider, stepping aside. Come in. Robert is upstairs, Valentina's in the kitchen. No surprise, no questions, no dramatic reactions. Exactly what innocent spouses do when federal agents arrive with warrants, comply immediately and completely. Morrison enters first, followed by her team. They move with practiced efficiency, securing the residence while maintaining professional demeanor. No weapons drawn, no shouted commands. Routine arrest procedure for nonviolent suspects. Valentina Santos? Morrison calls toward the kitchen. Valentina appears in the doorway, coffee mug still in hand. Her face shows recognition rather than confusion. She knows exactly why federal agents would want her. The mug slips from her fingers, exploding against kitchen tiles in ceramic shrapnel and coffee spray. Dark liquid spreads across white tile like blood evidence at a crime scene. I need to see some identification, Morrison says calmly. Valentina nods, reaching for her purse on the counter. But instead of ID, she produces her phone and starts typing rapidly, attempting to send messages before being taken into custody. Agent Chin gently removes the phone from her hands. We'll need that for evidence. Professional courtesy masking criminal apprehension. No dramatic takedowns or action movie theatrics. Just methodical law enforcement processing a routine fraud case. Robert chooses this moment to appear at the top of our staircase, still in his bathrobe, face red with rage and confusion. What the hell is happening in my house? Robert Blackstone? Morrison calls up to him. FBI. We have a warrant for your arrest. Robert stares down at the agents like he's hallucinating. 6 months of criminal activity finally catching up with him, but he still doesn't understand how they discovered his operation. Arrest for what? This is insane. Wire fraud, identity theft, misuse of government security clearances. Please come downstairs, Mr. Blackstone. Robert doesn't move. Fight or flight response activated, but nowhere to run and nothing to fight. Federal agents don't negotiate with suspects having psychological breakdowns. You need to get dressed and come with us, Morrison continues. Or we can arrange appropriate clothing at the federal building. The choice between walking out in handcuffs, wearing a bathrobe, or getting dressed first motivates Robert into compliance. He disappears into our bedroom, returning 5 minutes later in wrinkled pants and a stained shirt. Federal agents don't explain much. Warrants, rights, handcuffs. Efficient. Robert tries arguing during the arrest process. This is a misunderstanding. I never committed wire fraud. Elena, tell them. But I'm loading our dishwasher, maintaining the domestic routine that's been my cover for 6 months of investigation. Let them work out their legal problems while I finish kitchen cleanup. Elena! Robert calls desperately as Agent Chen applies handcuffs. Call David Morrison at legal. Tell him to meet me at Federal Holding. I look up from the dishwasher, making eye contact for the first time since agents arrived. 6 months you watched me make breakfast for her. I say quietly. Now you know how it feels to be seen. Robert's face shows genuine confusion, then dawning recognition. The methodical wife who never questioned his explanations, never challenged his stories, never seemed to notice obvious inconsistencies. Who apparently noticed everything. Valentina maintains complete silence during her arrest. Professional criminal recognizing that anything she says will be documented and used against her. She knows the drill better than expected. Agent Morrison applies handcuffs with practiced efficiency. Valentina Santos, you're under arrest for wire fraud, interstate theft, money laundering, and conspiracy. You have the right to remain silent. The Miranda recitation continues while Robert stares at me across our kitchen. 18 months of marriage ending with federal handcuffs and evidence bags containing his shattered phone. How did you know? He asks as agents escort them toward our front door. I don't answer. Some questions don't deserve responses. If you're feeling the same satisfaction I felt watching them get handcuffed, you need to subscribe for more revenge stories like this. Share this with any woman who needs to see that cheaters do get what they deserve. Justice is possible. The house feels different after they leave. Quiet in ways that have nothing to do with volume levels. Clean, somehow. Like removing contamination from living space. Agent Morrison approaches me while her team processes evidence in our driveway. Mrs. Blackstone, we'll need you downtown this afternoon. Valentina wants to make a deal. The legal machinery moves with bureaucratic precision over the following weeks. No movie endings, no instant justice. Real consequences unfold through paperwork, court filings, and regulatory proceedings that stretch across months. Robert's security clearance gets revoked within 24 hours. Standard federal procedure when charges involve misuse of government access. His TechCorp consulting contract terminates automatically, morality clause triggered by criminal charges. 8 years of professional reputation destroyed by Patricia Welch's compliance review. The federal charges process through Eastern District Court with methodical thoroughness. Wire fraud carries maximum 20 years per count. Identity theft adds 15 years. Conspiracy to defraud government contractors includes additional penalties under federal acquisition regulations. Robert faces 47 individual charges across 3 federal statutes. No plea bargains offered initially. Federal prosecutors build comprehensive cases before negotiating. Robert's court-appointed attorney explains this during their first meeting, which I know about because Agent Morrison keeps me informed of proceedings relevant to my testimony. Divorce proceedings begin the following Monday. I file in county court with documentation that would impress forensic accountants. 6 months of financial evidence, forged signature analysis, hidden asset discovery. My attorney reviews the materials with professional admiration. This is the most thoroughly documented spousal fraud case I've ever seen, she tells me during our initial consultation. Your husband's attorney will recommend immediate settlement. Asset freezing orders protect our joint accounts pending investigation. Robert can't access funds he helped steal, can't liquidate investments purchased with laundered money. Financial paralysis that prevents flight attempts or evidence destruction. Professional license suspension follows state regulatory timelines. Financial advisor licenses require clean criminal records. Robert's Connecticut registration gets suspended pending investigation outcome. His Series 7 and Series 66 certifications face federal review for securities law violations. Valentina's real estate licenses in 3 states face similar suspension procedures. Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation moves fastest. 30-day notice, hearing scheduled, provisional suspension implemented. Delaware and Nevada follow their own regulatory schedules. No movie ending. Real consequences take time, create real damage. The investigation timeline spans 2 to 4 years according to Agent Morrison. Federal fraud cases require comprehensive evidence review, witness coordination, financial forensic analysis. Multiple defendants complicate plea negotiations and trial scheduling. White-collar prosecutions are marathons, not sprints, Morrison explains during my witness preparation meeting. Your documentation gives us strong foundation, but federal courts require extensive corroboration. Robert attempts contact through various intermediaries. His attorney requests spousal privilege discussions. His brother calls asking for Elena's side of the story. Even his mother, somehow reached in her assisted living facility, leaves voicemail about family forgiveness. I ignore all contact attempts. Some conversations aren't worth having twice. Work becomes my refuge. TechCorp's security assessment contracts continue without interruption. Clients request my expertise specifically, trusting my reputation for thoroughness and technical precision. The same skills that exposed Robert's fraud make me valuable to corporations protecting their digital assets. My supervisor David Chin schedules a check-in meeting 3 weeks after the arrests. Professional concern about my emotional state and work performance sustainability. Elena, you seem different lately. More focused, if that's possible. Are you handling everything okay? Better than okay. Personal stress is resolved. I can concentrate on work properly now. Truth without elaboration. The investigation consumed mental energy for months. Now that it's complete, my professional performance improves noticeably. Agent Morrison calls Thursday afternoon, 6 weeks after the arrests. Valentina's attorney has negotiated cooperation agreement terms. Federal prosecutors want comprehensive testimony about Robert's operation in exchange for reduced charges. She recorded everything. Morrison tells me during our phone call. Every conversation, every planning session, every admission of fraud. Professional-grade surveillance for insurance purposes. The FBI interview room downtown feels smaller than expected. Institutional furniture, fluorescent lighting, digital recording equipment running continuously. Valentina sits across from me wearing Orange County Jail clothing, looking smaller without her designer outfits and confident facade. Agent Morrison operates the playback equipment while Assistant U.S. Attorney Rebecca Martinez takes notes. My college roommate leads the prosecution team now, professional coincidence that strengthens federal case coordination. Recording from March 15th, Morrison announces. Conversation between Robert Blackstone and Valentina Santos. Robert's voice fills the room through digital speakers. Elena's signature is easy to forge. She signs documents the same way every time, very consistent patterns. Valentina's response. The bank requires notarization for amounts over $50,000. I know a guy who handles that. Costs 2%, but he's reliable. Professional criminals discussing identity theft with casual efficiency. My forged signature purchased their Miami property, funded their Delaware corporation, secured business loans I never authorized. Recording from April 22nd, Morrison continues. Costa Rica has excellent extradition treaties, Robert's recorded voice explains. We liquidate everything after Elena's Denver conference, transfer funds offshore, disappear permanently. What about her security clearance contacts? Maximum extraction before departure. Jenkins alone is worth $200,000 in defense contracts. They planned comprehensive exploitation of my professional network before abandoning me with destroyed credit and federal investigation consequences. Recording from May 7th. Elena's Pentagon briefing schedule gives us 3 days minimum, Valentina says. Enough time to empty accounts and reach international waters. She'll never figure out what happened until we're gone. Systematic planning to destroy my financial stability, professional reputation, and legal standing. Not passionate affair, but calculated criminal enterprise using marriage as operational cover. Even criminals need insurance policies. The recordings continue for 2 hours. Complete documentation of their fraud conspiracy, featuring my husband describing me as collateral damage in their financial operation. I listen without emotional reaction. Professional detachment learned from years of cybersecurity incident response. Analyze the evidence, document the damage, implement countermeasures. After the playback session, I drive home to our empty house. Valentina's belongings removed by federal agents as evidence. Robert's personal items packed by his attorney. 6 months of performed domesticity erased, leaving authentic quiet. Coffee tastes different without performing happiness. No need to smile through breakfast conversations with people planning to destroy my life. I drink Ethiopian blend because I enjoy it, not because it impresses fake relatives with expensive tastes. I check work email while finishing my first honest cup of coffee in months. 3 new client contracts, all requesting my cybersecurity expertise specifically. Defense contractors who trust my technical reputation, government agencies requiring my security clearance level. Turns out, the best revenge is just being better at your job than they thought. My phone rings at 9:30 p.m. Robert calling from Federal Holding. Unknown number, but I recognize his voice on the voicemail. Elena, please call me back. I need to explain everything. This isn't what it looks like. I love you. We can work this out. I delete the message without listening to the complete recording. Robert called from Holding. I let it go to voicemail. Some conversations aren't worth having twice. If Elena's story inspired you, prove it. Like this video, subscribe for more revenge stories, and comment telling other women what you learned. Share this with someone who needs to see that perfect revenge is possible. Your engagement literally saves lives.